Imagine being a tiny Himalayan kingdom caught between two of the world's biggest powers, India and China. That's Bhutan's reality. While it has no massive army or economy to lean on, Bhutan survives through a strategy of balance, relying on India for protection and trade, while carefully keeping its distance from China's influence. Its leaders push a unique philosophy, gross national happiness, showing the world that survival isn't just about power, but about identity and smart diplomacy. Bhutan proves small nations can stand tall in the world's toughest neighborhood. This is the story of how Bhutan survives between India and China, and why its strategy might be one of the smartest geopolitical survival moves in history. Let's break everything down. Geography, the first line of defense. Bhutan is one of the most mountainous countries on Earth. The Himalayas slice right through it, creating steep valleys, rugged cliffs, and towering peaks that act like a natural fortress. In fact, much of Bhutan is so remote and inaccessible that even today, some villages can only be reached by foot or mule. This isolation isn't just an accident of nature, it's part of Bhutan's defense strategy. For centuries, the mountains have protected it from outside invasion. It's not easy to send an army into a place where the roads simply don't exist. Isolation as strategy. For most of its history, Bhutan followed a policy of self-imposed isolation. No foreign visitors, no embassies, and no outside interference. Until the late 20th century, Bhutan was practically a mystery to the rest of the world. Television didn't arrive until 1999, and the internet came even later. Imagine that. A country where people were still watching their first TV shows while the rest of the world was already using smartphones. This isolation wasn't about being behind the times. It was about preserving sovereignty. The less you let the outside world in, the less chance there is for someone to take over. The India connection. Now, let's talk about India, Bhutan's most important ally. Back in the 1800s, when British India was expanding, the British decided not to colonize Bhutan directly. Instead, they signed treaties allowing Bhutan to remain semi-independent, as long as it consulted the British on foreign policy. Fast forward to 1947, when India gained independence. Bhutan and India signed a new treaty in 1949. This agreement allowed Bhutan to manage its own internal affairs, but India would help guide its foreign policy and provide military protection. In simple terms, Bhutan agreed to let India handle the dangerous stuff, and in return, India keeps Bhutan safe from outside threats. The China factor. But what about China? Well, Bhutan and China don't even have official diplomatic relations. That's right. Bhutan is one of the few countries in the world that doesn't formally recognize China's borders. Why? Because there's a serious border dispute. China claims parts of northern Bhutan and has even built roads into disputed territory, which has made Bhutan very nervous. And India even more so. In 2017, this nearly led to a crisis when Indian and Chinese troops faced off in a tense standoff at Doklam, an area near the Bhutanese border. Both sides dug in for weeks, and the situation almost spiraled into a war on Bhutanese soil. Since then, India has stepped up its support for Bhutan, investing in roads, trade, and military cooperation. For Bhutan, the message is clear: stay close to India to keep China at bay. The smartest survival strategy. So how does Bhutan survive between two of the world's most powerful nations? By playing a delicate balancing act, it stays very close to India, keeps its economy tied to Indian trade, and lets India handle the big diplomatic risks. At the same time, Bhutan avoids provoking China and carefully manages its own quiet, peaceful way of life. Bhutan's survival isn't about military power or wealth. It's about diplomatic skill, strategic geography, and knowing when to say no to the outside world. Sometimes, having one very good friend is all you need to survive in a dangerous neighborhood. And for Bhutan, that strategy has worked beautifully so far. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating stories about geopolitics, history, and the hidden strategies that shape our world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.